So check this out. This is from Vice, and this is written by Carl Bode. And I believe Carl Bode has contributed to other tech publications as well, I think. I've definitely covered some of his stuff before. But check out this headline. Why North Dakota has the best internet in the United States. North Dakota. You know, another fun fact about North Dakota, they have, I believe, the oldest public bank in the United States. Kind of fascinating. So check this out. And one of the things we talk about a lot on this show is municipal broadband, city-owned internet, municipal internet, and how we need that all across the country. What that does for anyone who's new to this show, municipal broadband, city-owned internet, it takes the internet out of the hands of the big cable companies and puts the internet infrastructure into the hands of cities and municipality. Cities of all size can do this. As you're seeing right now, North Dakota, we have covered instances on this show where there are farmers building their own broadband. So no matter how urban or rural your community is, you can have a municipal broadband infrastructure project. There are towns as small as 7,000 people that have done this. And there are places as large as Chattanooga, Tennessee that have done this successfully. There are some municipal projects going on in New York City, Tacoma, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Sandy, Oregon already has one. Fort Collins, Colorado, Longmont, Colorado. There's certain areas in Los Angeles that are building some networks. So it's in the Los Angeles area, rather. Beverly Hills, Santa Monica among them. So no matter how big, how small, it can be done. It can be done. So let's check this out. Why North Dakota has the best internet in the United States. Local communities fought cooperatively against telecom monopoly dominations in the 90s. Say that word 5 to cooperatively. That's a tough one. Cooperatively. Cooperatively. Say that 5 times fast and then judge me. It's not easy. Cooperatively. I need more water if I'm going to say that. Who writes that? Come on, Carl. Cooperatively. You needed that one? That's a mouthful. All right. So now rural North Dakotans have better, faster broadband than many U.S. cities. So if you're looking for ultra-fast broadband, don't bother heading to U.S. tech hubs like Silicon Valley, New York City, or Seattle. Your best bet may just be rural North Dakota. So this report was done by the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. Their director, Chris Mitchell, has been on this show before. More than 2/3 of rural North Dakotans have access to fiber broadband compared to less than 20% of rural residents elsewhere. Rural North Dakotans are also more likely to have access to gigabit fiber broadband that's spottily available in many areas. The roots of the state's broadband success originate in the 90s. So a coalition of local communities banded together in frustration over their telecom company, which was then US West. So a coalition of 15 local cooperatives and small businesses started getting together to try to build their own networks. With national monopolies like AT&T, CenturyLink, and Frontier refusing to upgrade their rural networks, communities should look to the example set by North Dakota's local companies for a path to better connectivity. So what they did was a report. More than 750 communities across the United States have built their own alternatives, meaning they've built their own network. Data routinely indicates, and we have covered those reports on this show, data routinely indicates these networks, meaning the city-owned networks, the municipal broadband networks, provide better, faster, and cheaper service than regional incumbents. It's a major reason why ISPs like AT&T have lobbied for nearly 24 state laws prohibiting such efforts. So what happens, and we have covered this in detail on this show, you can go to our net neutrality and municipal broadband playlist. We covered the study more in depthly that they're referring to. That's a study that was referred to in Bernie Sanders' high-speed internet for all bill. That was a study that Harvard and the Institute of Local Self-Reliance put together in a joint effort. And what it found was pretty much 100% of the time, a municipal broadband option offers cheaper internet. And, 100% of the time, it's cheaper. And nearly 100% of the time, it's better. And the only reason I have to say nearly 100% of the time is because there were a few instances where the service offered was neck and neck with what the big cable company was offering. And the only reason it was even neck and neck, which again, it's not like the big cable company was way up here and the municipal broadband option was way down here. They were neck and neck. They were nearly the same. And the only reason they were nearly the same in most cases was because the municipal broadband project was not finished, or because they were about to invest in a big upgrade for it and they just hadn't quite gotten to the big upgrade yet. That's the only reason we have to say nearly 100% of the time, because there were a few exceptions where it was neck and neck, and it was only because those projects were short of completion. So pretty much 100% of the time, it's better. And definitely 100% of the time, it's cheaper. So you're getting cheaper, better internet. And net neutrality right in the charters. So you guarantee you're going to get a free and open internet. While mediocre broadband has long been a U.S. problem, the pandemic has brought renewed attention to the fact that such connectivity is an essential lifeline. Yet more than 42 million Americans lack access to any type of broadband, and millions more can't afford it. As millions of people shelter in place and rely on the internet for work, school, and streaming entertainment, it's more important than ever that all Americans have access to high-quality, affordable broadband service. This is Christopher Mitchell talking, who is the director of Community Broadband Network Initiative at the Institute of Local Self-Reliance. And of course, Chris has been on this show before. Past Institute for Local Self-Reliance studies have shown that mindlessly throwing subsidies at the nation's biggest telecom monopolies isn't an effective way to fix the problem. Why is that? That's because all these companies are concerned about is profit. When they don't have decent connectivity options in a rural area, it's not because they can't. It's not because they don't have the infrastructure or they can't build the infrastructure. It's because they don't want to, because they don't feel like the profit margins are going to be good enough for them. That's why it's always better to build your own internet infrastructure, because you don't have to worry about dealing with Comcast or AT&T, who doesn't care about you. They don't care if you get decent internet. They just care about their bottom line. And if they don't think they can make enough money on you because you're too rural or you're too small, whatever it may be, they just don't put the effort in because they don't think they need to, because they have an organized duopoly. So where else are you going to go? It's there or the highway. Well, guess what? People have found an alternative. They're building their own infrastructure. Having given big monopolies like AT&T, this is Chris Mitchell speaking again, Frontier and CenturyLink billions of dollars that were wasted on an obsolete technology, governments have to recognize the folly of giving them another dime. Local providers have built the vast majority of high-quality networks that serve rural Americans and are the best strategy to finish the job. Boom. Boom. Yet another example of why municipal broadband and city-owned internet is the way to go. And this is something we can build one community at a time, no matter how big or small the place you live in is. It can be done. And it all starts by someone who really wants to see it in their community showing up at a city council meeting and bringing it up. That could be you. That's what I did in my community. I'm still fighting that fight, by the way. I mean, some of you guys have been keeping track of what I've been doing. I showed up at a city council meeting. We got it on a city agenda. They did a study that concluded Pasadena, California could not afford a municipal broadband project. For some reason, we just can't figure out what Sandy, Oregon can, what Chattanooga, Tennessee did years ago, what Tacoma, Washington can do, what Longmont, Colorado can do, what Charlemont, Massachusetts can do, what for some reason Pasadena, California can't do that. For some reason, all those other towns can, but for some reason, Pasadena, California can't. And no offense to any of those other places. They're all great places. All I'm saying is Pasadena, California can do anything that those places can. So if they can do it, so can the town I live in. But so I'm still fighting that fight. It's can't really do a whole lot about it right now because of COVID, but something I really hope to jump back on as soon as possible. So there's another, for instance, North Dakota, rural North Dakota, some of the best internet in the country. Rural North Dakota. Why? Because they decided we're not going to put up with this nonsense from these big cable companies who don't want us to have decent broadband. We're going to build our own. And they did. And now they have some of the fastest internet in the country at a reasonable price. Just like Chattanooga, Tennessee, some of the best internet in the country, cheaper price than most people pay for their internet. Why do you think it spreads so much? Why do you think when one town gets municipal broadband, all the towns around them try to get it too? It's because they see it and they're like, yeah, we want that. That's good. That's good. And the studies have shown that you're going to get better internet at a better price. So I'm going to continue the fight here in Pasadena, California. I don't think, I know there's some virtual city council meetings, so I'm going to participate in that. The only thing is, it's like when you're dealing with a pandemic, it's kind of hard to think about, future investments. So when I say like, oh, that could be you, I don't mean like right now, but when the pandemic's over, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of pressing things going on in communities across the country right now. And, it might not be the most ideal time to break ground on a municipal broadband project. That's understandable given the state of affairs. But, this is a fight that we have to continue. And, when the time is right, hopefully ground is broken on municipal broadband. And shout out to you in North Dakota. You got a public bank. You got municipal broadband. If only you didn't have horrible weather. There's some winter enthusiasts who are like, what do you mean, Ron? That's subjective. I get it. I'm just not a winter guy. You do you. No judgment here. Just me, not a winter guy. Can't do the winters. North Dakota. I'm sorry.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and